Science is made by people. And when one of these people leave us, they do not only leave an empty space in the academic world, but also on a personal level. We want to take a moment to talk about one of these people. Recently, Adele Hite, senior writer at Diet Doctor, has passed away. If you've been following us for a while, if you have read one of our guides or taken one of our courses or programs, then you have surely received advice from her. We want to take a moment to celebrate what we have learned from this woman, who was really one of a kind.
Well, Adele had this incredible reputation in the low-carb world.
She was just such a smart, savvy, down-to-earth low-carb advocate.
Her knowledge base is incredible, both from, the book knowledge base, the clinical experience knowledge base, and sort of the critical thought process knowledge base all coming together. And her emotion and her energy and her passion is just so palpable.
One thing that many people will say is just how funny she was, and it's so true. She was amazing with her ability to write funny things or to come up with just off-the-cuff comments.
Like macadamia nut butter that I eat off a spoon because a spoon is low carb.
One of the things I enjoyed most working with Adele was bringing together our educational programs, whether it was our CME program, our coaching program. She's so good at designing a communication and picking the right words and picking the right strategies to educate and communicate. And in all of our guides and our written materials, she would find these words, which at first I was like, does it really matter if I use one word or the other? But then once I got into it with her and she explained it, I'm like, oh my God, that totally makes sense. How did I never see that before? So that's something I will take away from a lesson that I've learned for her forever.
She knew that words mattered. That's what Adele was always telling us on the editorial team, that words matter. What you say matters and how you say them. And she was always thinking about the individuals that would come to us looking for guidance. She was not a fan of telling people what they should and shouldn't eat. That was one of her main criticisms about the dietary guidelines, the U.S. dietary guidelines. She didn't like an organization telling people which foods were good for them and bad for them. Instead, she preferred to give people tools and information that they could use to make their health better. So we could tell them about the benefits of protein and about how lowering carbs could help their blood sugar and their blood pressure, but they could decide what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it in a way that would work for their own lifestyle and their culture and their eating preferences. And it was very powerful. We all needed to hear that, and we all put it into practice.
She had so many different skills and was such an amazing person. I would be lying if I didn't say I'm incredibly sad, but I'm trying to be happy right now because that's what she wanted. I think she was very joyful about life, and I hope that my ability to smile through this message is a testament to that.
The other thing that I did think was amazing is that her ability to talk about the elephant in the room. There'd be times where there's things that need to be said, and you might feel like, I would have these times where I feel like, I maybe should say something. And Adele would say it. She would express it. And in a way that we all knew it was true. So it was like this speaking truth to power. But there would sometimes be some really difficult conversations that came out of it because she was speaking this truth.
She was strong. She was not going to back down from any controversy. If she had a strong belief and she could back it up with science, she was not going to take myths or misconceptions or let other people tell her what to believe. If she could defend her position, she was going to do it.
She was never afraid to call people on their bullshit, and that was a real talent. And even within the low-carb community, to actually say some of the things that everybody held to be true, that this was a myth, or, that this wasn't actually true, and to be really clear about that. And I also really admired.
I appreciate that you have been the voice for that, to really, which is not always a popular voice. Like, you've gotten some pushback because of it. And you're a very important part of the low carb message in the low carb world, but yet sometimes you're seen critically because you're that voice. And it doesn't faze you. It brushes right off your shoulder, because what's more important is getting the message right to you. And I really appreciate that. Your integrity of your message is so clear, and that speaks a lot to who you are. So thank you for making your voice heard.
Well, and thanks for giving me this opportunity, because it is my dream that everyone is offered the option of a low-carb diet when they need it. And I do think that if we want to be accepted into the mainstream, which is the only path through which people who are disenfranchised, people who don't have the resources that other folks do, it's the only way that they are going to get this option, is to have low carb accepted as a therapy in mainstream. And if we want that to happen, we need to have all of our ducks in a row. And if I have to be unpopular to do that, so be it.
We wouldn't be where we are today at Diet Doctor without the contributions of Adele. She was a tireless advocate for all people who could benefit from carb reduction and a true expert on the topic. She raised the bar for us in so many ways and guided the evolution of our advice. Even though she knew her time was limited, she kept working until 2 weeks before passing away. This was truly her passion, and her spirit lives on in our hearts, and her legacy continues in all the work we do at Diet Doctor.